English Activation Pack, Phrasal Verb Activator 1. Free English material. Are you a Britlisher yet? These lucky people are. They're all enjoying the ton of free English language learning material they got when they became a Britlisher at Britlish.com. Get your free welcome pack today at Britlish.com. Phrasal verbs. Many students avoid phrasal verbs, but this is a huge mistake for anyone who wants to become proficient in English. The reason for this is simple. Native English speakers use phrasal verbs with alarming regularity. If you can't, won't, or don't use them, you'll never be able to say that you have a good level of English. What are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are no different to any other piece of English vocabulary that you need to learn to develop your English skills. Phrasal verbs have a main verb followed by a particle. The particle is typically an adverb or a preposition. In three-part phrasal verbs, we can have two particles. Phrasal verb problems. The problem with phrasal verbs is that their meanings cannot always be guessed from the words alone. Not only this, but many phrasal verbs also have more than one meaning. With some phrasal verbs, we can separate the verb from the particle. With others, we cannot. Some phrasal verbs need an object, and some do not need an object, while others can both need an object or not need an object, depending on the meaning. Phrasal verb advantages. The reason we use phrasal verbs so much is that they say much more than the words alone. Take the phrasal verb split up, for instance. I can say Jane and Martin have split up. If I didn't use a phrasal verb, I'd have to say something like, Jane and Martin, who were in a long-term romantic relationship until recently, have decided to end their relationship and to not have anything to do with one another again, at least not romantically. Phrasal verb activation packs. To help you learn, remember and use over 2,000 of the most common and useful phrasal verbs, I've created this series of phrasal verb activation packs. For each pack, I've randomly selected 10 phrasal verbs from my list in order to explore how, when and why they are used. Though most phrasal verbs have more than one meaning, I concentrate on only one meaning of the phrasal verbs in this phrasal verb activation pack. Other meanings will be dealt with in future phrasal verb activation packs. After you've studied the phrasal verbs, you'll have the chance to activate the 10 phrasal verbs by using them in a series of exercises. Today's phrasal verbs: catch up, drive away, find out, fix up, get off, look round, pick up, run off, take aback, throw down. Catch up. Become aware of the most recent information or developments. I use the internet to catch up on world events. I've just caught up with the latest gossip. I'm catching up on events at work. How will I catch up? The verb catch cannot be separated from the particle up, even with a pronoun. Catch up does need an object of a preposition, though this object can be implied as in example 4 above. Drive away. Compel someone or something to leave. The swan drove the goose away. The swan drove away the goose. The swan is driving the goose away. Will the swan drive away the goose? Drive can be separated from the particle away. Drive away does need an object, as we need to drive something away. Find out. Discover something by investigation, study, or questioning. The police found out who killed him. The police will find it out. The police are finding out the murderer. Will the police ever find out the truth? Find can be separated from the particle out, but only when a pronoun is used. Find out does need an object, as we must find something out. Fix up. Provide someone with something that they need. I'll fix you up with the money. The council is fixing him up with somewhere to stay. She fixed up some food for him. Can you fix Harry up with a car for the day? Fix can be separated from the particle up. Fix up does need an object, as we must fix somebody up with something. Get off. Bring a phone or other remote conversation to an end. The boss is here, so I'll have to get off now. Apparently his plane was about to leave, so he had to get off Skype. Get off the phone and get back to work. Will she ever get off the phone? Get off cannot be separated, or the meaning changes. Get off does not need an object, but it can take one. Phrasal verb activator. Now that we've seen how each of these phrasal verbs can be used, we'll practice using them. Each time you do the phrasal verb activator, you'll be given some random questions from a large database of questions. To get a new random set of questions, refresh your browser. Dictionary. Some words in this phrasal verb activation pack will be new to you. You may be taken aback to find out that I fixed you up with a dictionary of the words used in this phrasal verb activation pack. I'm sure the definitions in the dictionary will drive away any concerns you have with the meaning of the words. Download the dictionary from the resources link at the top left of the phrasal verb activation pack. Vocabulary Activator. The Vocabulary Activator will help you find out just how much of the vocabulary in this phrasal verbs activation pack you've added to your active vocabulary. Each time you do the Vocabulary Activator, you'll be given some random definitions to put a word to. To get a new set of questions, refresh your browser. These English activation packs are only available at Britlish.com. Become a Britlisher and get free activation packs today. I look forward to welcoming you as a Britlisher at Britlish soon. Goodbye for now.